Another live video for you today. This time from this beautiful park behind me, the lake. But I do apologize in advance. You will hear the sounds of some loud bikes and modified cars in the background. Not much I can do about that. But if you've been watching me for a while now, you will know that the modified cars follow me wherever I go. So hopefully that won't disturb the video too much. But yeah, I've got a really important message for you today in this one. What the narcissist greatly fears after discarding you. Because at that point, you may not be in contact with them anymore. You may not know exactly what is going on in their minds. So I'm here to shed some light on that. I'm here to tell you exactly what is going on, so that you can understand their way of thinking. Because let's keep it real. It is very strange. They are very unlike us. Because I'm sure I speak for all of us here when I say that, all right, sometimes we experience conflict. We have disagreements with people. And maybe we want someone to do something for us or be something for us. And maybe that's a deal breaker for them. Maybe they have boundaries surrounding that. And while we may not like it, while we may have wanted a different result or outcome, we can still accept it. And we can still wish them well. We don't wish any harm on them. And in fact, we hope that they find what they're looking for, whether it's someone else. We hope that they continue on their path as we choose to go our separate ways. And we hope that they find out what they're looking for. We hope that they find happiness, fulfillment, healing, success, along whatever path they choose. As long as they're not going off and harming people, exploiting them, causing them trouble, then of course, yes, we wish them well. We wish the best for them. And that's normal. That's how humans are naturally supposed to be. We're not supposed to be envious, bitter, and resentful. We're not supposed to wish people harm. But this is the narcissist mindset. As always, it's always the opposite of ours. They think in the opposite way. Because they lack what we possess. They don't have what we have. So this is why, as it's getting towards the end of the relationship with the narcissist, they're devaluing you, they're turning against you, they're putting you down, they're smearing your name, they're trying to cause all sorts of trouble for you. And why are they doing that? They're doing it because they can't control you. They can't have their way with you. So the way they see it is, if they can't have you the way that they want, if you can't be what they want you to be, then you just shouldn't be anything at all. Then they have the right to destroy you, so that you can't be anything for anyone, so that you can't find happiness or fulfillment with anyone. If you can't give that to them, because once they've got you, they see it as though that's it for life. They view you as their possession, as an object that exists to serve them. As though you serve no other purpose than to just submit and be whatever they desire. And that's your life. That's your purpose. And any time that you deviate from it, they see it as a threat. They feel a loss of control. And then they want to regain that sense of control. They want to have power over you to get you to do what they want you to do. It's essentially the same thing as two children playing together. And maybe one of the children, their parents got them a new toy. So that child is playing with that toy. And maybe they're having a lot of fun with it, having a good time. Lots of fun with their new toy. But then the other child sees it and they want it for themselves. They want to take that toy. So what do? They snatch it out of the other child's hands. And maybe the other child was taught boundaries. They were taught that there's separation, and what's theirs is theirs, what belongs to them belongs to them. So then they try to snatch the toy back. But the other child doesn't like that because they weren't taught boundaries. They weren't taught separation. They don't have a sense of identity. So then they decide to break the toy, destroy it. Because if they can't have it, if they can't have fun with that toy, then they don't want anyone to have it. They don't want to see anyone else enjoying it. They don't want to see anyone else having a good time. So that's why they try to destroy you. Because they don't want to see you being happy with someone else. And they don't want to see someone else being happy with you. So then they just destroy you. Well, they try to destroy you. Sorry, I know I'm slipping on my words. As always, it starts to get busy. Getting busy here. Getting busy, getting dizzy. I'm going to walk down here. This is just how it goes. I mean, this entire massive park, and then someone comes and stands right next to me with their family. Every single video, 4,000 videos over the past 7 years, same thing happens every time. And you think one of these people would notice that clearly I'm filming a video, talking into the phone, and they come and stand right next to me. And then here they come out with all the red t-shirts, all the red cars. Notice how everyone has a red t-shirt on now. It's always the same thing. They have to disrupt everything. Back to the video. Yes, these narcissists, after discarding you, or even after you leave them, they fear that you're going to be better without them. You're going to do better without them. You're going to be happier. You're going to live a good life. And of course they fear that because they know they weren't any good to you. They know that they're not good people. They know that they just cause trouble. They ruin people. So naturally, of course, they're going to have this fear. Of course, they're going to be thinking that once you leave them or once they discard you, things are going to be getting a lot better for you. Because then you're no longer wasting your time with a leech, a parasite, a bottom feeder, a loser, a lowlife. So now you have a chance for things to get better for you without all of that weighing you down, without all of that holding you back. So naturally, of course, they have this fear. And that's why towards the end of the relationship, they turn against you. They devalue you, they smear your name. They do everything they possibly can to try to control you. Because they already know exactly what's going to happen. They know that things are going to get better for you. And yes, I know there's more noise in the background, just constant hitting sounds. That's another thing you'll often hear as well, is they like the impact. There's always impactful sounds. I'm trying to go in this direction, but I'm corded this way as well. They're coming this side. But yeah, these narcissists, they recognize that, of course, their presence is a hindrance to you. They know it puts you at a disadvantage. They know their presence is not going to be any good to you. So, of course, they're going to have this fear that once you're no longer around them, of course, things are going to get a lot better for you. I mean, they would have to if everything that you said about them was true. If you were really having a difficult time with them, then of course things are going to get easier for you after they're gone. And of course, yes, they worry about that. And that's why typically they will hoover you, they will come back, or they will smear your name, they will isolate you, they will sabotage you to create the type of environment that they want for you, so that you don't go off and show them up, so that things don't get a lot better for you, and then they have to see that, and then it just makes them feel bad about themselves. So that's why they have to do that. Because remember, narcissists, they're grandiose, they have all of these fantasies. They always wanted to be something, but they did in the work. They lack self-belief, so they try to control you instead. Take a moment to breathe. It's difficult with all of these things trying to stop me from getting the message out. It just makes me go faster. It just makes me want to let you know, because you can see a lot of people are trying to stop this. And luckily they're going in that direction. No one's coming here for now, so. But now, of course, they're waiting there. It's very difficult to get any space. I popped in here because I could see that no one's here, but then, of course, as soon as I get somewhere, pretty much all of my videos, just click on any video, you see the same thing happening anytime. Every time. Any place that I go to, when I get there, there's no one there. Give it a few minutes, then it's busy. Then there's all sorts of noise, and it's just me running around trying to find somewhere where people won't be there. Everyone wants to come to me, but I don't want to be anywhere near them. But yeah, it just makes me anxious. It does all of this all of the time. I mean, I do my best for you, try to put out these videos, try to help you. And unfortunately, there's so many people out there who only care about themselves. They feel very insecure, and they want to feel like they're better or they're powerful. So I apologize for all of these distractions here. Just know that it isn't me. I'm doing the best that I can. But yeah, these narcissists, they will turn people against you after they've devalued you, smear your name. They will isolate you. They will discredit you. They will try to sabotage you. And here's the thing, because something just bit me. That's okay. That's it's natural. That's just nature. But yeah, they will try and sabotage you. They will try and get you fired from your job. They will target you financially. And just think about this, right? Because you may have never expected that. You may never have thought that this person is going to go out of their way, above and beyond, to sabotage you. I mean, maybe you have family. Maybe you've got parents that you're taking care of. Maybe your parents don't have much money, they can't take care of themselves. Maybe they're getting older, maybe they've got all of these health issues. Maybe you have children, you have to put food on their table, they need a roof over their heads. And maybe your job is very important. You could have a really great job, you could be a nurse, a doctor. You could be curing cancer. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, they don't care about anyone other than themselves. So they don't care if your parents aren't feeling well, maybe they're getting older, they've got all of these health problems, maybe they need a lot of support, especially financially. Maybe your children haven't got anything to eat, they need you to work and make the money. Still getting bitten you. don't know what it is. Something is inside my joggers, I think. I don't know what that is, but it's a very strong bite. But yeah, you could have people who are dependent on you, people who need you, people who can't survive without you. I mean, of course, when we're talking about your parents who may be elderly, they may have health issues, maybe they can't take care of themselves. Children can't take care of themselves. They need financial support. And also all of the people that you may be helping through your work. Maybe a doctor, a nurse. You may be someone who helps people. Such as myself. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, a life coach, a relationship expert. If someone tries to sabotage me, that doesn't just affect me. That could affect thousands of people around the world. We're dealing with toxic relationships. And they could be depressed, they could be suicidal. They could be really going through it. They could be turning to drugs, alcohol. Maybe they're having trouble at work, with narcissists at work. It could be affecting them financially. It could be affecting their mental health. So you see how this has a knock-on effect. But that's the thing, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with a predator who ruthlessly exploits people. All they care about is themselves. They don't care about anyone else. They don't care about your elderly, sick parents. They don't care about your children. They don't care about anyone that you're helping with your work. They don't care about any of that. So of course they don't care about you and your physical or mental health. All they care about is themselves. And if you didn't realize that before, you will most definitely realize it at the discard or after the discard. Then it will really begin to make sense to you. Because everything is just all about them. And that never changes. It's not like you just reveal this to them. They have this revelation, this epiphany, and now suddenly it's not going to be all about them. It's always going to be all about them, no matter what. No matter what they do, no matter what you do, no matter what you say to them. Everything you get from them is an illusion. Everything is manipulation. It's only ever going to be all about them. Just as for many of us, even though we go out and we act like we want a relationship, we want someone to be there for us. I mean, let's keep it real. Many of us were codependent. Even when we're seeking relationships, seeking friends, we're people pleasing, we're being there just to try and help them, because that's how we get our validation. That's what makes us feel better. As if we're selfless, if we sacrifice ourselves, that's what makes us feel good. And if that's what you're doing, you've got to stop doing that, because you do have value, you do have worth, and you do deserve someone who cares for you and supports you just as you care for and support them. So many of you may be codependents, you may be people pleasers, and of course that's how this happens to you. That's how you end up giving more than what you're receiving, and then you're the one who ends up with the short end of the stick, because that's your personality. You're on the opposite side of the spectrum. So you need to take a leaf out of their book. You need to become more narcissistic. Not in a malignant, harmful way, of course, but just in terms of boundaries and separation. You need to assert your feelings, wants and needs, your desires, dreams, goals and ambitions, because otherwise what's going to happen to you? People are going to neglect you, you're going to neglect yourself, and despite that, people are still going to need you. Your elderly parents may still need you. Your children may still need you. People at work, your customers may still need you. The only difference is you're not going to be in a position where you're able to help them because people are neglecting you and you're neglecting yourself. So it all starts with you. You've got to fill up your own cup first. But yeah, this is what they do after the discard. And this is why, as you're approaching the discard, you need to be aware. You need to be very careful. Because they're starting to have that fear of abandonment and separation. They're having that abandonment anxiety. They know that they're no good. They know they're no good for you. They know that they've harmed you. They know they've caused problems for you. They know that you would be so much better off without them. And yet they have these grandiose fantasies in their minds. They devalued you to feel powerful. Initially they idealized you, they love bombed you. And it created this perfect union for them. It made them feel good, it made them feel attractive, desirable, valuable. But then because they put you on a pedestal, they began to feel inferior to you. And they realized that you could do far more than what they can do for you. They began to feel like a leech, the parasite that they are. And then that's why they then turned against you, they devalued you. Because at least then it made them feel powerful, it made them feel important. But that was just an illusion. They actually have no power or importance. This was just all in their heads from them manipulating, controlling and devaluing you. And you getting away, you escaping with the person that you are, with the value that you have. All that's going to do is show them up. All that's going to do is show them that everything they said about you was a lie. It's going to show them and everyone else that they were liars, they were manipulators, that they were keeping you down. There wasn't anything wrong with you. There wasn't anything bad about you. You were perfectly fine. I mean, maybe not perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws. We all have imperfections. But you were relatively good. I mean, you were doing all of this for them. You were making them better. That's why they stayed around you. So this is what they fear. This is why as soon as they sense that it's getting to the end, that you're about to discard them, or that they fear they're losing their grip on you, they're losing control, that's when things really begin to heat up. That's when they turn up the temperature on you. That's when they ramp up the abuse. That's when they start doing all of the work outside of the relationship to manipulate people's perceptions of you and to bring in their flying monkeys who may be narcissists just like them. And then also they start to seek out a new source while they're devaluing you. Someone else who now they view as this person who's going to be their rescuer, their savior. So they've got everything premeditated. It's all planned out. From that moment when you start to catch on, when you start to figure them out, when you no longer fall for their lies and future faking anymore. Because they do recognize your value. They were getting benefits and conveniences from you. And so they fear that you're going to be the person that you are without them. You're going to have all of that value that you have. You're going to be you. You're going to have your qualities, your characteristics, maybe your good looks, your charm, your charisma, your happiness, your positivity, your optimism, your hope and belief for the future, your money, your job, your home, your car, all of your things. You're going to be taking all of that with you into another situation without them, whether it's with someone else or by yourself. I mean, I don't recommend dating straight after being involved with a narcissist. I know it can be tempting. You may feel like you need that closeness, you need that validation. You need someone to be there to listen to you, to understand you, to give you the company you never had while you were with the narcissist. I completely understand that. But whether it's with someone else or by yourself, they just hate the thought of that. They don't like it. Because once they set their sights on you, they wanted all of that for themselves. They were looking at your house, your work, your job, your money, your characteristics, everything. They were looking at it like that's theirs. That's theirs now because they set their sights on it. They already felt like this is going to be theirs. They own you. Just like the children playing with the toys. One child set their sights on the other child's toy, and they felt like that was theirs now, that they own it, that they can play with it, they can take it home. And then because the child who owned the toy tried to snatch it back, then the other child just tried to destroy it. Because they couldn't stand the thought of that child going home with their toy, their own possession, and playing with it, having fun with it. Well, they haven't got the toy and they're miserable. They couldn't stand the thought of that. So that's why the narcissist, after discarding you, then comes back and tries to sabotage and destroy you. But that is the mentality. And honestly, it's a horrible, sick way to think, but this is what they're like. For us, of course, as codependents, people pleasers, empaths, that's like our worst nightmare. Knowing that we were in someone's life and that we posed as a hindrance, a disadvantage to them, and that they left worse off. And now they're unhappy, they're miserable, dissatisfied without us, as though we could have been better. That's what plays on our minds. And that's why they devalue us. That's why they blame and shame us, because they know that. They know that that's what affects us. Thinking that we weren't good enough for them. Thinking that now they're worse off because of us. That's what trauma bonds us. That's what makes us want to come back and make things better for them. And then of course they punish you even more. They torture you by not letting you do that. And by making you think that they found someone else who's better for them now. Who can cater to them more. Because at some level they understand what personality type you are. Even while they're blaming you, they're shaming you, they're painting you as a villain, and yet they're still getting the benefits. They're using you in a certain way, while painting you as the opposite. Typical narcissistic behavior. They're getting the benefits from you being a certain way, from understanding your positive traits, your personality type, while painting you as the exact opposite, while still using you for that purpose and in that way. Really sick people they are. But this is what they do. This is why they have to orchestrate everything in the way that they like. They plan and coordinate the elements of the situation to produce their desired effect, so that things go the way they want them to go. So that you're left as less than yourself. So that you leave not as the person that you once were, not with the value that you once had. And they get as much out of you as they possibly can. So that they go off into the next situation with bits and pieces from you, and you go off somewhere losing part of yourself. You go off feeling not like yourself anymore because you're not yourself anymore. They took all of that from you. They destroyed you at that point. And that's exactly how they wanted to go, because they don't get involved with you for nothing. The parasites, leeches, bottom feeders, they come around you to exploit you, to derive benefits and resources from you. So they deplete you. They come around you to get something out of you, not to give something to you. And yeah, that's their worst nightmare, is getting involved with someone, investing the time, energy, and effort, and not getting what they want. That's what really frustrates them. Because they do not want to go off feeling regret, feeling like they lost something. They do not want to go off feeling disappointed and dissatisfied. They want to feel like they milked the situation for all it was worth. They got as much out of it as they possibly could. Because this is what they do to people. They target people who are better than them. And I know it makes me a bit disoriented at this point. There's just so much going on in this park. I mean, it was so quiet before, and now there's just so many people from all directions, making all sorts of noise, cars beeping, modified cars. I came here for peace, and now I've already got a headache. But of course, I mean, I get something out of it because I know that I'm helping so many of you with this information. And I'm getting this off my chest as well from my own experiences with narcissists. So something good is coming out of it. I'm not just being completely drained and depleted, thankfully. But yeah, no matter what direction I go, I'm bombarded by each side of this park. I could try walking down the streets, but then I will get followed by cars as well. So I'm really trapped at the moment. I'm just gonna... Actually, you know what, I got a great idea. You're about to see the difference now. Now you're about to see how this is not just in my head. Because watch what happens when I put my earphones in. There. Now I feel much better now. I feel more like myself. I feel more at peace. Because now people can't use the sensitization. They can't manipulate me with sounds to get into my head and distract me. That's why I can't convey and articulate the message appropriately and effectively to you. So now I can slow things down. I can speak more clearly to you. I shouldn't be stuttering as much because it's real. People use sound manipulation. They follow me around. They abuse me through my ears, sometimes through my eyes as well if I look around with certain stimuli. And that's why instantly when I put my earphones in, you get a much more calmer person. Someone who doesn't have to speak so fast. Because I'm not worried about when someone's going to jump in and try and distract me and stop me from giving you this truth that you all need to know. So yeah, let's get back into this message. It's a great fear for narcissists. It's a great fear for them towards the discard, towards the end of the relationship. Because you've got to think, I mean, the entire time they've been manipulating you, exploiting you, driving benefit and resources from you unfairly. They've been doing things that they should not have been doing to you. So of course they're going to be afraid. Of course they're going to try and exert control over you. Of course they're going to try and destabilize you, discredit you, get everyone to see you differently. Of course they're going to do all of these things. Because the last thing they want is for you to go off with a sound mind, where you're stable and secure. You've got everything you need. You've got everything that you are. That's the last thing they want. Because of course, how is that going to make them feel about themselves? Because they recognize your value, they recognize that you're better than them in so many ways. So if you go off as everything that you are, as everything that you have, all of your value, your mental and physical health, or at least what's left of it after everything they've done to you, if you go off in that state, that position, that condition, they're going to be very envious, very bitter. It's going to really irritate them. They're not going to like it at all. It's going to send a message about themselves back to themselves. It's going to make them see themselves very negatively. It's going to invalidate their false self. Because otherwise it's like, if they're so great, so wonderful, so grandiose, then how is it that a high value person, you with your qualities, your characteristics, your value, everything that you are, your good job, your business, all of the money that you've earned, your home, all of your things, your connections, how is it that a person like you experienced conflict with them? You didn't get on well with them. You wanted to get away from them. You thought they were toxic, dysfunctional, harmful to you. So how is it that you leave them, you get off, and things get better for you? How is that possible? And that's why they have to orchestrate the situation. They have to interrupt it. They have to intervene. They have to affect you negatively. They have to bring you down so that it reflects a different message back to them. So that they can then see themselves in the way that they want to be seen. They can then glorify themselves, put themselves up on the pedestal. So that they can validate the false self through you. And that's what it's designed to do. And I'm seeing a lot of ants on the ground here, so I'm assuming it was an ant that was biting me. But it seems to be okay now. So really, it's all about them. Again, it's all about their perception, their feelings for themselves, how they want to see themselves. And of course, they see it as though more people means more power. So they smear your name, they discredit you to other people, they spread lies and rumors, they get everyone to see you differently in a negative way. So now everyone has the pitchforks out for you. They're all looking at you like you're a bad person, you can't do anything right, you harmed the narcissist, you caused trouble for them. And many of you may look at that and think, how is that possible? Because that's not true. You did everything you could for them. You upgraded their lives, you made their lives better. The narcissist is the one who exploited you, so how can they think that way? And that's the thing, because many of these fly monkeys, they're pulled into an alternate reality. They've been manipulated, brainwashed, and you can tell that they're under some sort of spell, because in any situation, it doesn't matter what you did for the narcissist. It doesn't matter how much you try to help them. You could have gone to the ends of the earth for them. And yet all they could have done the entire time is abuse you. They may not have helped you in any way. But because the fly monkeys have been manipulated, brainwashed, They will pick out any little thing they can find where the narcissist may have appeared to have helped you in some way, and they will blow it out of proportion. They will exaggerate it, and they will minimize anything that you've done, because then they will exaggerate the allegations, the accusations that the narcissist has made against you, as though that then discredits anything that you've done. So as an example, you could have given the narcissist a home, you could have given them everything they wanted, taken them on trips around the world for many years, and they may not have done anything for you, they were just leeching off you. But then all of a sudden, once they realise you're no longer falling for their lies and future faking, now they'll start making accusations against you. And they will act as though that then discredits anything that you've done before that, or anything that you tried to do after that then minimises as well. And they will also just focus on little things that they've done for you, even though those little things that they may have actually done, that was just designed to manipulate you and to keep you under their spell, so that you would keep giving and providing to them. But then they use that towards the end to act like they are the ones who are doing everything for you. And then they then use this to manipulate the flying monkeys to where they're under a spell. And also, keep this in mind, I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about it, and I'm not here to say that it's anything bad about someone because they didn't pick up on this, or that they didn't notice it, because keep in mind this happened to me as well, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. This is all emotional manipulation. But here's what many of you don't notice. I mean, you're looking at these flying monkeys and you're confused. You're wondering, how can they believe in the narcissist story after everything you did for the narcissist? And how they just manipulated and exploited you. How can they believe in them? But here's the thing. You believed in the narcissist all of that time, even while they were abusing you, exploiting you. You still fell for their lies and future faking. You still believed in it. You still stayed. So you were once in the same boat as them. Even though you may have had their ex come into you, telling you the same story of what has now happened to you. And you didn't believe in their ex. So you see how this happens. Because it's all your emotions. You were emotionally manipulated. Maybe they played the victim and you felt sorry for them. And it can make us feel foolish. But just know it has nothing to do with intelligence. It's emotional manipulation. Nothing to do with logic. It defies logic. It defeats your logic. Because it's all fantasy. They pull you into a fantasy world. But this is what they do. This is how they get you, by playing on your emotions. And this is how our emotions can be very dangerous. You've got to take your emotions out of it. Emotions are just fantasy. They have nothing to do with reality. Reality is based on logic, facts. And this is why interrogators, police officers, investigators, one thing that they're always told when they start the job is to not personalize anything. Do not react to it emotionally. Do not let it play on your emotions, because that's got nothing to do with the facts. That's got nothing to do with reality. The most important part is the logic and the facts. That's what you need to pay attention to, because they can manipulate your emotions. They can keep you in it. They can keep using you. You got to look at the facts and identify, write it down. How much have you done for this person? Remain loyal to them. And what have they done for you in return? Yes, they may be promising to change, but what have they already done? How much change have they already made in the past few months, the past few years? Are you willing to wait that long to see the same amount of change? You see, when you take your emotions out of it and you look at it logically, you begin to see things more clearly. It begins to make more sense. And they've been doing this for a very long time. They manipulated their parents. They manipulated their parents' emotions. They may have turned their own parents against each other. Triangulated one parent with the other parent. So they've had a lot of practice at doing this. They've been doing it for a very long time. And that's how they know exactly how to work you, how to play on your emotions, how to guilt trip you. And this is why you got to take your emotions out of it. Look at the facts. Look at what you've been doing for them. Look at what they did to you. And then that's the truth. But this is how they manage to manipulate so many people, because the reality is most people, they do just act on their emotions. They do not think logically. Like, they might see someone who seems like a nervous wreck, someone who seems unstable, someone who perhaps even seems psychotic, and based on their emotions, they may just think, all right, this person's a nut job, this person's a problem, something is wrong with them. But if you look at it logically, you take your emotions out of it, and then you may think, hold on a minute, why is this person this way? Why are they reacting this way? Why are they behaving this way? Why can't they keep it together? What's happening to them? Let's look at their environment. Let's see what's being done to them. Let's see what's affected them. And then things begin to make more sense. But of course, on the other side of it, narcissists can use this too, so we do have to be careful. They can use anything that you use, because remember, they want to be you. They want to be the victim. They love playing the victim or the hero. But the reality is that they have been doing this for a very long time. And you'll always notice that you came into it with a lot, you left with very little. They came into it with very little, they got a lot of you. And this happens every time. Whenever a narcissist is in a relationship, they're getting something out of it. They're getting more than what they're giving. While you would have been better off if you never got involved with them. So when you look into it, when you see what's actually happening, you can see that someone's getting something out of it, and yet they're still playing the victim and blaming the other person. And then this person who's being used, they become emotional. They may engage in reactive abuse. They get angry because they're fed up. They're sick of being used. They're sick of being exploited. They're sick of being blamed for everything. But then that's when the narcissist turns around and then starts blaming you. And they do the same thing every time. They wait until you're on your last tether, until you've reached the final straw. You can't take it anymore. You've just given up at this point because you realize it's not going to get better. You're sick, you're tired, you're fed up. And then they turn around to point the finger at you. And they do it so calmly, as though you're the problem, you're the crazy one. And it's just in the moment, Never mind everything that happened before. Because the reality is, if we just want to focus on single moments, then yes, they can make you look like the perpetrator. They can make you look like the bad person. And this is typical narcissistic behavior. This is what they like to do. They home in on the moment. What they don't want people to do, what no narcissist wants anyone to do, is to look at the bigger picture. Look at what this person has been trying to do their entire lives. Have they been trying to do better, be something good, be something of value for someone? Is that what they've been trying to do their entire lives? And what happened to them when they did that? How were they treated? And then let's look at the narcissist. What have they been doing their entire lives? Manipulating people. What purpose have they been seeking? What have they been trying to do? But then for us, it's very different. All we've been trying to do our entire lives is give the best of ourselves to people, to work hard, to find love, to have a successful marriage, a family. Well, for narcissists, all they do each and every time, they come in, they manipulate, use and exploit people. They ruin them, they destroy them, and then they blame them. And then they go off and do the exact same thing to the next person. It's a big difference. It's just they always manage to confuse things. And that's deliberate because they want to continue doing it. What they don't want is for things to be simple. They have to make it complex. And sometimes it can become complicated on our part as well, because all of this abuse, we develop complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which makes it easier for them to blame us, because in their minds they're faultless, they're flawless, they're perfect. They can't do anything wrong. So all of the things that they've done to you, in their minds, they haven't affected you. Anything that's happened to you, it's just you. That's you in their minds. And of course, that's what relieves them of their shame. But yeah, you can expect the same thing from these narcissists every time. As soon as they feel like it's getting to the end of the relationship, they feel like they're losing control of you, then they're going to do everything they can to make sure you don't get away with your worth, with your value, with everything that you are as a person. They're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. And even once they leave you in a pit of misery, after all of the destruction, they're still going to come back. Because at some level, of course, they know they did that to you. They know that they made you that way. And they also recognize that the entire relationship, you were making things better for them. So of course, they expect you're going to get better. Things are going to get better for you again. And that's why they're always just waiting. They're lurking somewhere, ready for when you recharge, you replenish yourself, so that they can come back and get more out of you. Sometimes they may come back with an apology. They may come back acting like they know they did something wrong and they want to make it better. But they're just telling you what you want to hear, so that they will have an open door. They can come back in and continue where they left off, so that things can go back to normal for them. Which is why sometimes they will just come back like nothing happened. But then this is also where they leave you without any closure, without any answers, without an explanation for their behavior. Because of course, if you really recognize what they are, what you're dealing with a monster, someone who doesn't even care about you. They just care about what they can get from you. They only care about themselves. when you fully realize that, you're not going to let them back in. You're not going to give them another chance. And that's why they like to distort everything. They like to make things complicated, or they like to guilt trip you and get you to blame yourself, so that you keep giving this abuser a chance. You keep letting them back in when they don't deserve anything with you. Of course they don't. Just look at how they've treated you. Look at what they've done to you. And yet they took no accountability, no sense of resolve, not even trying to make things better for you. So of course they don't deserve to be anywhere near you. You should not feel comfortable around them. You should not feel comfortable letting them back in, giving them another chance. I mean, the things they do, these are serious crimes. They do extremely bad things to people. I mean, just think about the effects that this has on this world that we live in. Strong, powerful, optimistic, confident, hard-working, disciplined, successful people who are being manipulated, used, exploited, sabotaged, discredited. This is absolutely awful. Not just for these people who deserve more, they deserve better. They deserve recognition, credit, support. They deserve everything that they earned, everything that they worked for. But not only that, what about all of the other people who could have derived benefit from you? People who deserved it. People who would have had something to reciprocate back to you. So this affects so many people. People who will never get to see your potential. People who will never get to see what you could have been if you had never been involved with this leech, this parasite. So it really is a tragedy for many of you, because just think about victims who maybe had elderly parents, they were going through something, they had health issues, and it's like, if you were in a better position, you could have been there for them more. Maybe you could have supported them financially. Maybe you could have added an extra 10, 20 years to their life. And even children, if you have children, they could have had a better start in life. They could have gone to a better school, a better college. And even your community. You could have invested more into your community, could have started a business, would have had more energy, more time. So, yeah, these people are very selfish. They only think about themselves. It's all about their feelings, their warped perceptions of themselves. Because deep down, they know they're horrible, they feel inadequate. So they sabotage not only you, but everyone around you. And I haven't seen any reports that have explored this. But just imagine it, just think about it. How this affects entire communities, societies, with these narcissists running around exploiting victims. Just think about how it affects inflation, house prices, taxes. Just think about how it affects everything. Maybe this is why the world is such a difficult place for so many people now. Maybe this is why in so many parts of the world, people work every day and yet they can't afford to live. They can't afford a house. They can't even feed their children. And yet they're putting in so much work, they're doing everything they can. Maybe this is why this is happening. Because there's a bunch of people out here who are taking and not giving anything back. Maybe this is why this world is so unfair, so unequal. Because if everyone chipped back in what they were getting out, everything would be fair, equal, even. Because people would be getting something back for what they're giving. So maybe this is why the world is the way that it is, because there's so many narcissists in the world who only care about themselves. I mean, just think about it. If everyone thought before they did something, before they manipulated, exploited someone, if everyone thought carefully, all right, never mind just myself, my own feelings, how is this going to affect not only this person, how is it going to affect their family, their parents, their children, their community? If everyone thought that way, this world would be a lot better. People wouldn't be struggling. And not just people struggling, but people who should not be struggling. I'm talking about people who are disciplined, people who are hardworking, people who put in the work. And that really is one of the most tragic things about societies today, is that there's actually people out there who are doing the work. They're building up society. They're making things better for everyone. I say, what are they getting out of it? Are they getting the pay that they deserve? To where they can actually afford a comfortable home? To where they can actually maybe go on a date to meet someone and have a relationship, a marriage, a family, and then they can afford to take care of their children. They can go on vacations, they can explore the world. This is how it is. And whenever people try and speak out about this, what happens? They just get silenced. Because there's a lot of selfish, greedy people out here who are exploiting people. They're not putting in the work, and they know that they're not doing as much as they should be doing for what they're getting. And I think many of those people, they know who they are. They know that it's them. Well, for us, I mean, many of us were manipulated, we're gaslighted, discredited. We end up doubting our worth. We feel like we're fake. We develop imposter syndrome. And it's like, no, I mean, how much more can you possibly do to where you then actually deserve something back? Again, sometimes you've got to take your emotions out of it. Just start writing things down. And think about it logically, reasonably. It's like, all right, you've done this much, you've invested this much into something. How much should you be getting back? You have to think about these things carefully. Instead of just having your emotions in it, because this is how narcissists thrive, with emotions. It's all fantasy for them. And that's why no matter what they do, no matter what they achieve, they're never satisfied, they're never fulfilled with anything that they have. Because it's all just their emotions. And deep down they know they don't deserve it, they know that they're fake. But as for us, these feelings of being fake, imposter syndrome, this was implanted in us. This is only on the surface. At our core, there's something else, something authentic, something true. But it's not that way for them. But yeah, I know it's a bit off topic. I mean, it still relates to the title of the video. So many struggles when you go through a discard with a narcissist. It's not like a normal breakup. A normal breakup, you part ways, you still get to be you afterwards. You still get to leave with what you have. I mean, if you're in a marriage, if you got divorced, if you care about that person, you might want to help them a bit as well. But even the thing with marriage and divorce, I mean, child support, alimony, it's all set up in a narcissistic way these days. I mean, from either gender, whatever way you look at it, it's like you experience conflict with someone, you don't get on well, something happens, you get divorced, and then it's like you're still responsible for this person's life. You still have to pay them money every month. Even if they want to take the children, they don't let you see the children. You're still paying for them. You're still invested in something that you have no part in, that you're kept out of. You're paying for someone else's life every year, and you're not getting anything from them. They're not doing anything for you. And maybe they weren't doing anything while they were with you. You were just helping them. And yet you have to pay them the rest of their lives. They get to live for free. Maybe they get to live in your house, drive your car. Maybe they got their new boyfriend or girlfriend sitting on your couch, watching your TV. And you're paying for all of it. But all you tried to do was give this person a good life and just build a relationship, a marriage with them, a family. This is what you get. If you want to do good, if you want to be a good person, you want to love someone, you want to make their life better, you want to give them a wonderful family, beautiful children, a better life, this is how they repay you. This is how they treat you. And why? Because they can. Because the system lets them do it. And really, it just deters anyone who's wanting just to have a normal relationship, a normal marriage, a normal family. It deters anyone who is wanting to do that. Especially most of the people out here in the world today, I mean, they've got so much experience in manipulating people. They've been through it so many times already. They've tricked so many people, gotten what they wanted out of it, moved on to the next. And you're just another one in that cycle. You're just another person that they're going to manipulate, use, discard, and then go on to the next one. And they already know exactly what they need to do to get away with it without being caught, without getting into trouble. And yet when you look at these people, it's no surprise that they're so miserable, angry, resentful. How could they ever be happy when they do the things that they do? When they treat people that way? But yeah, they really fear that after discarding you, you're still going to move on, you're going to be happy, you're going to be satisfied with yourself, with the person that you, with the value that you have, with everything that you've worked for. That's what they fear. Because then they're going to feel regret. They're going to feel like maybe they should have dropped their pride, their ego. Maybe they should have done more for you. Maybe then you'd still be around. That's how they're going to be left feeling. They're going to be feeling like they missed out, they lost something that they did not deserve. But you deserve you, someone else deserves to be with you. And they do not want to be left feeling that way. So this is why they interrupt, they intervene, they disrupt to make things the way that they want them to be. And that's how we find ourselves in this fake world, this alternate reality, where nothing is how it's supposed to be. Because there's a lot of people out here manipulating things, orchestrating situations. Things aren't going naturally. People aren't with the people that they're supposed to be with. People don't have the things that they're meant to have. And that's why everything just messed up. That's why some of the best people, the happiest people, the most peaceful, hard-working people don't have anything or anyone. And the fakest, most manipulative, heartless people have everything. And at the same time, they're not happy with it. They can't find any fulfillment in it. That's why the world is this way. And no one wins in this. I mean, in some ways, we still win because we still got love, we still got truth. And that's really what brings us happiness. That's why they keep coming back to us. That's why they keep getting involved, because that's one thing they don't have. Narcissists, they may exploit you, they may rob you, they may get a lot out of you. But no matter what they do, no matter what they get, they're never happy anyway. How can they be when they're fake? They're not genuine. How can they be happy with that? But yeah, I mean, not how I wanted this video to go, of course. It's just difficult with all of these distractions. I mean, every time I look up, wherever I look, there's always someone waiting for me to look up so that they can do something. And often what they're doing these days is as soon as I look somewhere, could look any direction, there's be someone there, they'll like wave their hand or something. Especially if I'm closer, they'll just wave their hand right in front of my face. You might see that on some of my Instagram videos, but it's accidentally. I wasn't intended for it. It just happens to be there sometimes. But yeah, I do see that a lot, and you will experience all sorts of destabilization tactics from narcissists because they're very unstable. Of course they're unstable because everything is built on a house of cards. They have no foundation, no structure. There's no core value belief system. There's nothing at the base to keep them standing, to keep them upright. There's nothing there. So everything just falls apart. Everything just crumbles like a house of cards. And whereas for you, you have a strong core. You have a foundation because you're real, you're genuine, you're authentic. So what they do is, I don't think they can really mess with the core, with the foundation of a person. They can't really mess with that. So what they do is they put an external structure on top of it. They impose it on you, and that's not real, that's not authentic, that's not genuinely you. So they put that on top of your core, your base foundation. And of course, because that's not real, that's like a house of cards, that's very shaky. That can be destabilized. So that's how they do it, but you're still you at your core. But that's how they're able to destabilize you. So when you feel like it's distorted your identity, it's because just lost my train of thought again. Hold on. No, it's gone. Can't remember what I was going to say there. But this is just what happens with all of these distractions, and can't really think of anything. my mind just goes blank sometimes because I deal with so many things every day. There's so much manipulation, so many destabilization tactics, and a lot of people they just want it to stop. They just want to feel comfortable in their little bubble, in their fake world. And they just want the praise, they want the approval, they want the validation, even though, of course, deep down they know they don't deserve it. But they want to feel like they do. They want to feel like they're something. Even if they did have to trick, cheat, con, deceive to get it. But yeah, let's take a look at the live chat. Just to finish off this video, let's see what people are saying. Raster says they can't get satisfaction ever. That's their problem. Yeah, I believe that's a big part of it. I heard in one of Sam Vaknin's video that the sadist is driven by their sex drive, by a lack of sexual fulfillment. And that's why they seek to harm people. But then also, they can't be satisfied. The best thrill, the best satisfaction they get is through sexual exploitation, sexual abuse, withholding sex. So yeah, they definitely have sexual issues and issues with not being able to gain satisfaction. And that's what drives them. Beaver Survivor says that must be very unnerving, having people waving in your face, NS, how rude of them. Yeah, it's a difficult thing to deal with. I mean, it's something I deal with every day. And, it's a form of hypnosis. It's a brainwashing tactic. If you do some research on this hypnosis tactic called breaking the flow, so you may just be minding your own business. You're just going about your day. You're just thinking about what you're going to do, what you're going to have for lunch or dinner, where you're going to go. And of course, if someone just jumps in, they just chime in out of nowhere, they interrupt you, then it causes you to lose your train of thought. It may cause your mind to go blank. You can't remember what you were thinking, what you were going to do. And now you're being suggested with something. So then automatically your brain just absorbs this suggestion. And it affects the neurocircuitry of your brain. It creates a new neural pathway. Because you've learned something. It's a form of hypnosis. Of course, this may be more effective on people who are highly suggestible, people who were manipulated in their childhood by their parents. But it can affect anyone. Because it's unnatural, it's not meant to happen that way. And it can be quite effective with sales. Like those people who just stop you on the streets out of nowhere. They just come up to you and try and sell you something. But yeah, that's what they do. They use these hypnotic, destabilizing tactics. I think from a lot of these people, it's really just a sense of hopelessness. They feel hopeless. They have a lack of self-belief. And so they just want you to stop. They don't want you to keep going because there's a crabs in the bucket mentality. They feel like you're leaving them behind. Eddie Wynn says, no messing with my core. Yeah, it's come back to me now. Thank you for that. You just reminded me of what I was thinking before I lost my train of thought. They can't mess with your core identity. I've looked into it, I've researched it, and I found that actually what happens is they teach you things through their manipulation. So you learn things, and this is what goes on top of your core identity. And this is why with healing isn't about learning new things. It's about unlearning what you've been taught. So those neural pathways, that neural circuitry that you had before this relationship, before all of the manipulation, that may still be there. You just need to unlearn what you've been taught. What the main neural circuitry pathways that your brain is currently using. You need to unlearn all of that so that your brain then starts going back to the old pathways that you were using before. So I believe that our core identity is still there. And really, I mean, think about it like this. Keep in mind, I'm not a neuroscientist. I am just a life coach, and I'm not a licensed therapist. But what is our identity? Is it not just based on memory? So with the manipulation and the gaslighting, this can affect our memory. They get us to doubt our memory, our perception and sanity. So if you feel like you've lost your identity and you want to get it back, just go back to how you were before you were under their spell. And to do this, it can help if you have old videos of yourself, old pictures. You can listen to old songs, watch old movies, or if you have any memories of the past. I mean, I'm sure you will have some memories of the past. And every night just lay in bed, close your eyes, and reminisce about the past. Reminisce about the things that made you happy, where you felt like you were you. And then you may also have dreams about the past, because you're thinking about it just before you go to sleep. So this is going to get you back in touch with your true identity, who you were before you got involved with a narcissist. And also keep in mind that in this world, in this society, none of us really have a true identity. We're all taught things by our parents in childhood, by our teachers in school. We're indoctrinated, brainwashed by society, the media, social conditioning, peer pressure. We are affected by all of these things. We are products of our environment. So the truth is that very little of our identity, of who we are, actually has anything to do with us. It's dictated by our environments. And to really find your true self, what you really have to do is to spend time in nature, because nature is our home. This is where we are all from. So you spend time in nature, you spend time around animals, and to spend time by yourself, meditating. And that's how you get to know your true self. That's how you build your identity. You're not going to get that from anyone else. And actually, the more time that you spend around other people, it's just reinforcing the social conditioning, media influences, the indoctrination. So it's taking you away from yourself. And this is why when you get involved with most people these days, or you listen to music, most songs these days. You watch modern movies, play video games, even you spend time with your friends, your family. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel more like yourself, or does it make you feel like you're disconnecting from yourself? Because the reality is that most people are in the matrix and they're just going to pull you away from you. So what you really need is to be outside of other people's influences. And what can help as well is to find your tribe. Find other people who think the way that you do. Listen to people who talk about this kind of stuff. But even then, I mean, you may find that they're having a certain influence on you, maybe by the way that they dress or the way that they speak. So really, it's only you. It's only what you have inside of you. That's the real you. But yeah, that's just my beliefs about identity. Anyone says it is good to slow our minds down, because as empathetic people, we are deep, we need space. Yeah, as you may notice in my older videos, especially before, I think it was May or June 2023, before that time, before I was, really intensively gang stalked overseas, before that time, you may notice in my live videos that I was much more calm and much more slow. But then after that, I became a lot faster because of all of the distractions and the destabilization tactics. So I tend to talk faster to just shut everything out and to distract myself. Because, it's unwanted attention. I don't like people stalking and harassing me. And, that's really the whole point. They target people who are introverted, people who just enjoy their own company, people who want to be alone. Because otherwise, what would be the point? I mean, it's meant to disrupt you. It's supposed to be unwanted attention. So they typically won't target someone who enjoys the attention, such as a narcissist who's getting supply. They're not going to try that too much for them because it's just going to inflate their ego. It's going to make them feel better. They'll target more empathic people who don't like too much attention, because then it's going to be more effective. But what they will do for narcissists is they'll probably just stick the thing in their ear, the V2K technology, because that's probably going to irritate them more. Because as we know, I mean, narcissists, they do have an inner critic, they have an inner dialogue. That clearly winds them up. So if you put something in their ear, a V2K, then obviously that's going to irritate them. But it may not have the same effect on an empath because you're just going to feel bad for them. Diva Survivor says even nature videos help if a person can't leave the house. That's right. I mean, It's all just what we take in through our eyes and our ears, and it's all just electrical signals running to and from our brains. So, we don't really know what's even outside of our brains anyway. It could all be a simulation. None of this can actually be real. So what difference does it make whether you're watching this on a screen or in what we perceive to be real life, objective reality? And actually, studies have shown that there's really no difference. It has no different effect on the brain to where you're watching a movie or when you're actually engaged in something in real life. Studies have shown that there's no difference between the two. And you can use that to your advantage. You can experiment with all sorts of things using videos, sounds, and just with your mind, your imagination. And this could be very effective because it doesn't mean that you actually have to go and travel to a certain place. It's the power of our minds. You don't have to go to the other side of the world. You don't have to fly to Egypt to see the magnificent pyramids. You don't have to fly to the other side of the world to do that. You can just picture it in your mind. You can just use your imagination. And it can have the same effect because when you think about it, all that is just your feeling, your emotion. You can generate that emotion whenever you want. Lorraine Dan says they want you to fit in with them, and when you don't, you're targeted. That's right, they feel rejected. And also they see something valuable in you. They see you have things that they can have, they can use, they can take. So they justify it, stealing from you, maybe breaking into your home. I've heard all sorts of things. You wouldn't believe the things that I've heard from people who have been gang stalked, targeted. Incredible things. It's not just things where occasionally they're followed by a red car or someone wearing a red t-shirt. It's much more than that. This is a real thing. I've posted many reels on my Instagram recently from when I was in Vietnam and Taiwan. Real examples of what it's like to be targeted by these people, where they even become violent and they chase you down. But what they'll never do is tell you why they're doing that. They'll never tell you what they've done wrong. I mean, there was one case, I think this was in Australia. It seemed like they said something that this guy was meant to have done. But they won't really tell you what it is that they have a problem with. Because maybe deep down they know that nothing justifies their behavior. Nothing gives you the right to abuse someone. I mean, we all understand that. And maybe they know that at some level. That's why they don't come out. Because if they were to approach you and say that this is why they're stalking you, this is why they're abusing you, harassing you, stealing from you, ruining your life, ruining your kid's life, hurting your family. If they were to come out and say that why they're doing it, just think about how selfish, how self-centered, how egotistical they would sound. They would sound like a histrionic. It would just sound absolutely ridiculous. It would be like, oh, so you're doing all of this to people. Just why? Because you're hurt about something. Because something you don't like. So it's just all about you. And that's why they just, most of the time, they won't even talk to you. But I remember one YouTuber I was watching many years ago. I'm not sure if he still posts videos, but his YouTube is Rare Art. And he spoke about how he's being targeted because he was watching interracial pornography. And apparently someone confirmed this in his comment section. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. So someone's being targeted, they're being harassed every day for many years, discredited, had their life ruined, people harassing them every day, just because they're watching pornography. I mean, that is insane. And even myself, you already know what I think about certain types of pornography. I've got nothing against interracial pornography. I'm not against that at all. Of course, as a vegan, I'm completely against bestiality, any harm to animals, BDSM as well. I think all of these kinds of things are wrong. They're degenerate, they're immoral. But just because someone's watching that stuff, just because someone's watching bestiality, pornography, does that mean that they deserve to be targeted, harassed every day, tortured? Of course not. That doesn't make us any better than them. So we definitely shouldn't go doing that. That's wrong. Of course, I do believe that bestiality, I mean, as an example, not really something I like to talk about, but it's a good example. I think it is a crime in most countries, and it's harm to animals. It's harmful. So I personally believe it should be illegal everywhere, and people should be punished for that the correct way, because we're in a society, a system. But then also, I'd like to point out the hypocrisy, because, all right, yes, while bestiality is illegal in many countries in the world, at the same time, we're killing 300 billion animals a year for food. So, how can we punish people for bestiality, and yet at the same time we're killing 300 billion animals a year for food? Not that I'm justifying bestiality. I mean, of course, you know my position on it. I'm completely against it. I love animals. I'm a vegan. But it's just crazy, the hypocrisy. I mean, think about it. Real animals' lives. Don't they get the right to choose how they want to live? Just my thoughts on it. And, I'm not against anyone who eats meat. I myself have only been a vegan for 5 years. Before that, I was eating meat myself. I think that in time we will all move to more of a plant-based diet. I think that will happen. It's better for our world. But of course, these things take time. Unfortunately, until that time, hundreds of billions of animals every year being slaughtered. What can we do about it? What can be done? I'm just one man. I only have so much reach. But actually, I think this was back in 2008. I had a Facebook page. I think it was titled Stop Eating Cats and Dogs in China and North Korea. Because I heard about that and I was very against it. I've definitely always been an animal lover. It's good to see, though, a lot of people in this live chat understand the gang stalking, targeting thing. There's a lot of people in this world who are going through it, especially in this day and age with technology. Potentially millions of people around the world are being targeted in some sort of way. And we're all being targeted by governments, large companies. We're all being targeted by them. We're all being manipulated, brainwashed, indoctrinated. I'm getting bitten a lot here now. Maybe it's just this time of the day. Yeah, this is the park. So is the opposite side of where I am. That looks very peaceful and quiet. But I've tried that before. I know if I make the effort to go there, it will soon get more busy. People always want to be close to me wherever I go. But it just drains the life out of me. Very rarely have I been around people who can reciprocate energy back to me. So I just end up getting depleted. But yeah, this is the video for the day. What the narcissist greatly fears after discarding you. They fear that you're going to move on. You're going to do well. You're going to be happy. You're going to live a good life. well, they're just going to be stuck, miserable, dissatisfied, feeling regrets after how they treated you, after how they messed things up with you. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me at this park here. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Together we can help this video to get out there to other survivors of narcissistic abuse as well. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how small. You can donate to my PayPal. It is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And also don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you will definitely be notified when I go live again or when I upload a new video. If you'd like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, just head to my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And follow me on Instagram. I'm posting new content every day from my trip last December when I was in Japan. So follow me on Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Alright, thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. I hope that you found it helpful. And as always, I will talk to you soon.